The story will be told from the perspective of the main female character.
My mother didn't just scream at me, she gave me a final order. "You have 48 hours to get your things out," she told me. "This house belongs to your sister now." There was no warning or any reason given. Her sentence was sharp enough to split the air. I remember just staring at her. I was waiting for a punchline that never came. I didn't argue with her. I didn't even cry. I just became very quiet. It was the kind of quiet that makes people feel uneasy because they don't know what will happen next. 2 days later, when my sister walked through that same front door, she realized that silence can be much more dangerous than anger. I was raised in that house. Every sound the floor made, every old picture on the walls, and every broken corner of the stair rail was a part of my childhood. To most people, it looked like a normal family home. To me, it was a maze built out of things people expected from me. If you walked in on any morning, you would hear the hum of the old coffee maker that my father refused to replace. You would smell the lavender cleaner my mother used on every surface. She acted as if she could scrub all the chaos into following her rules. I was the oldest child, but in my family, that didn't mean I was the leader. It meant I was the person who had to solve everyone's problems. Since I was 17, every document, every fine, and every confusing letter in the mail ended up on my desk. My mother called it being responsible. My father said I had a good head. What they really meant was, "We don't want to deal with this. Give it to Alice." And because I wanted to feel like I belonged, I kept doing it. Then there was my sister. She went through life the way glitter floats in the air. She was bright, pretty, and impossible to ignore. My mother loved her. My father bragged about her wellness brand to anyone who would listen. Even though my sister lived on borrowed money and fake optimism, my mother would give me a look if I pointed out the unfairness. It was the look that said I was jealous just for wanting things to be equal. The house showed that same hidden ranking. My sister's room was double the size of mine. It was painted in a soft cream color with curtains she picked out on a shopping trip with my mother. My room still had the same old blue paint from middle school. I didn't complain. I learned early that complaining didn't change anything. It only made my mother sigh and ask, "Why can't you just be happy for your sister?" Still, that house was the closest thing I had to stability. I came home to it after long days at the office. I hung my jacket on the same hook I had used since high school. I let the quiet settle around me like a blanket. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine because of my memories. So, when my mother shouted that the house belonged to my sister, she wasn't just giving away property. She was throwing my entire history to the side as casually as if she were moving furniture. The truth is that I should have noticed the signs much earlier. The remarks and the choices they made without me were right there. My sister talked about her future plans as if the place was already hers. Looking back, those signs were not small. They were very clear. I just didn't realize how soon it would happen until the morning everything broke. The change didn't happen in one night. It came in small bits that seemed forgettable on their own, but they were obvious when you put them together. My mother started calling the house our future investment. My father talked about making things easier, which always meant I had more work and my sister had less. My sister, with her vision boards and bright selfies, started filming in rooms she never used before. She told her followers on camera, "One day this entire space will be changed. One day." She said it like it was a promise or a claim she was making. At first, I ignored it. My sister always made things sound bigger than they were. But then I saw documents left on the dining table. There were papers about property taxes and how much the home was worth. My mother had written notes on them. There was a list of ideas for repairs with my sister's handwriting in the corners. When I walked in one night after my job, all three of them stopped talking suddenly. My mother folded the papers very fast. My father cleared his throat. My sister gave me a smile that looked fake. "We were just talking about possibilities," my mother said. "Possibilities for what?" I asked. She moved her hand like it didn't matter. "Grown-up things. "Don't worry about it." That was her favorite way to make me feel small. She treated adulthood like a club I wasn't allowed to join, even though I was the one who fixed every legal and money problem the family ever had. The stress started to fill the walls. My sister began to say what updates she wanted to make. My mother started to move furniture without asking me first. One afternoon, I came home and saw my sister filming another wellness video in the living room. She said she had big plans for the property. When I talked to her later, she just shrugged her shoulders. "Relax, Alice. You get so attached to things," my sister said. "This house has potential." "It's our parents' house," I told her. My sister just smiled. "Is it?" The way she said that made my stomach feel tight. But the real change happened on a morning that seemed very normal. I was leaving for my job when I saw an envelope under my bedroom door. Inside was a printed list. It was my sister's schedule for meetings with clients, filming, and energy retreats. All of it was in our house, and she never asked me. At the bottom, my mother had written, "We'll adjust your room soon." She used the word, adjust, as if my room were just a piece on a board they could push aside. That night, I talked to my mother. "Why is my sister planning events here? Why is she talking like she owns the house?" My mother didn't look up from her cup of tea. She needs space for her business. She contributes to the family in her own way. "And I don't?" I asked. She finally looked at me. "You're stable. You don't need as much." That was it. That was the sentence that cut through all the years of my hidden anger. In their minds, because I was reliable, I didn't matter as much. That was the moment everything snapped. I realized this wasn't just a mistake or showing favorites. It was a real plan, and I was not included in it. The breaking point arrived 2 mornings later, even though the day began like every other day. I walked down the stairs expecting to hear the usual noise of plates and smell my mother's lavender cleaner. Instead, I saw all my stuff, my clothes, my books, and my framed pictures, stacked up in boxes right by the front door. My sister was standing nearby with her ring light. She was recording a video about new beginnings and moving to the next chapter. It looked like my next chapter didn't include a place to sleep. Before I could say anything, my mother came out of the kitchen. She didn't look surprised or sorry at all. She looked like she had practiced what she was going to say. "You have 48 hours to get your stuff out," my mother said. "That house is your sister's now." It should have made me fall apart, but instead I just went quiet. I was so quiet it even scared me. I didn't yell. I didn't try to defend myself. I didn't remind her of all the years I spent fixing their taxes, writing their legal agreements, or sorting every single bill. I just looked at the boxes, then at my sister's happy smile, and I felt something click. I didn't fight them. I just stayed silent and got ready. I went upstairs, locked my door, and let the silence cover me like armor. If they wanted me gone that badly, fine. But I wasn't going to leave without knowing exactly what they had done. I opened my laptop and looked at the property records I had helped my father organize a few months ago. Back then, he said he just needed help staying organized. Now, all the pieces fit together too well. I saw transfers, signatures, and notes written by my mother. There were talks about timing and documents that my sister had no right to see. The house was still legally in my parents' names, but everything showed they were planning to move it to her long before they told me. I looked further and my heart started beating faster. I found emails my sister had written. She was proposing repairs, business deals, and even using legal filings that I recognized from my own work in the legal field. She wasn't just dreaming about taking the house. She had already built her entire future on it without me. I took photos, downloaded the files, and saved everything into a folder I called Evidence. Nothing was illegal yet, but there were enough mistakes to use as leverage. It was enough to show what they were doing if they tried to push me too hard. For the first time, I didn't feel like I had no power. That evening, my mother knocked on my door. "You're being dramatic," she said through the wood. This is what's best for the family. Family? That word felt like a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't open the door. I didn't say a word. I realized that being silent could be louder than screaming. And if my sister really wanted this house, she was about to learn something very important. Owning something comes with problems she wasn't ready to handle. 2 days later, the house felt like a stranger to me. It felt like every wall and every floor had learned how to exist without me there. My boxes weren't in the hallway anymore. My mother had moved them to the garage. They were stacked up like trash, just waiting for someone to pick them up. My sister's car wasn't in the driveway, which meant she was out filming or working on her energy somewhere in the city. My father was acting like he was busy in the backyard. He was trimming hedges that didn't even need to be cut. The whole house felt like a stage, and they were getting ready for a show where I wasn't allowed to be an actor. But I wasn't getting ready to leave. I was getting ready to end the whole performance. That afternoon, I got the email I was waiting for. It wasn't anything fancy. It was just a short note confirming the legal meeting I asked for and a summary of my rights regarding the house. The words were very cold and professional, but to me, they felt like oxygen. For the first time, the law I used to help everyone else was finally going to help me. The sun went down behind the houses and a car pulled into the driveway. My sister got out. She had on a light-colored dress that looked like it was for a magazine. She held some folders and walked up the steps like she owned the world. She went inside and didn't even see me at first. She was talking to her phone. "This is the first day of the move," she said into the camera. "This place will look great when the new floors are put in. Just wait until you see the room for meditation." She stopped talking when she saw me. "Oh," she said. She put her phone down. "You are still here." I stood there in the house where I grew up. I kept this place running while she just acted like everything was for her. I didn't say anything. She rolled her eyes at me. "Look, Alice, I know this is hard for you," she said. "But our parents are right. I have real plans. This house has a lot of value that your life just doesn't need. You don't need it. I do." She was being mean, but she said it like she was talking about the weather. "You think this house belongs to you?" I asked very quietly. She held her head up high. "It is mine." I stopped her before she could say more. Mom said, that is what you keep saying, but the law doesn't say that." The front door opened again before she could talk. My mother came in with a bag of food from the store. My father was right behind her. They both had looks on their faces that made me feel sick. They looked happy with themselves. My sister stood up straighter because she had help now. "Mom," my sister said, "can you please tell Alice that this is—" But my mother wasn't even looking at her. She was looking right at me. "Why are you still here?" she asked in a flat voice. "We told you to have all your stuff out by today." I looked her in the eyes. "And I told you nothing." My father walked toward me. "We don't have time for this, Alice. We have meetings coming up. People are coming to see the house. You have to move your stuff so your sister can start." "Start what?" I asked. My sister breathed out very loudly. "Her business, Alice, my business. I have people giving me money. I have promises to keep. I can't do anything while you are still hanging around here." She acted like I was some kind of dirt on the floor. My mother put the grocery bag on the counter very hard. "This is crazy. Act like an adult for one time. Just pack up your things and go away without a fight." It was funny how the people who made all the trouble wanted things to be peaceful when it helped them. I didn't yell. My face didn't change at all. I just reached into my bag and took out a folder. It was thin and very neat. "Before I go anywhere," I said, "you all need to see something." My sister crossed her arms. "Oh man, are you really doing this? What could you show us that matters?" I opened the folder for them. Inside were all the printed records, notes about the house, and logs of their talks. I had the emails my sister wrote and my mother's handwritten plans to change the rooms. I also had a letter saying that the house was never legally transferred to anyone else. It said that trying to kick out a person who lives there without a real legal reason or notice is against the law. The feeling in the room changed. My sister didn't look so sure anymore. My mother gripped the counter tightly. My father stopped acting like he didn't care. "This," I said in a calm voice, "is everything you were planning while you kept me in the dark. These are all the papers you left out or tried to hide from me. This is the proof that you wanted to kick me out long before you actually said it to me." My mother's face got very hard. "You don't understand what we are trying to do. Your sister needs this." I said her name softly. "Your sister needs, that is always the reason, isn't it?" My father stepped in. "You are making this look bad. We aren't the bad guys here. We are trying to build something for the future." I asked him, "By kicking out your own daughter?" Nobody said anything. My sister swallowed hard. "It isn't about you, Alice. You just don't fit the vision." That word vision felt worse than any bad name. I put the last piece of paper on the kitchen counter. "This is a real notice. It says I am a legal resident of this house. You cannot kick me out just because you want to. If you try to do it without the right legal steps, it counts as harassment and an illegal eviction." My father made a noise. "That is way too dramatic." I told him, "No, that is the law. You have asked me to understand that law for 11 years for your own sake. You just thought I would never use it to protect myself." My sister looked very pale now. "So what? Are you going to stay here forever?" I said, "No, I am leaving, but I am not leaving when you tell me to." My mother's voice sounded shaky. "You can't do this. People are coming here tomorrow. We made promises." I told her, "That isn't my problem." For the first time, my sister looked really scared. Her voice got low. "Alice, you are going to break everything." I walked closer to her. I wasn't trying to scare her, I just wanted it to be over. "I didn't break anything. I just stopped you from breaking me." Just then, there was a knock on the door. It was 3 loud taps. My father opened the door. He thought it was a neighbor or a package. But it was a woman in a blue jacket. She was holding her own folder. She said her name and handed my parents some papers. It was an official notice about property fights and questions about the documents. It said that all repairs, business plans, and changes to who lives in the house had to stop until everything was checked. My sister's mouth stayed open. "What does this mean?" she asked. The woman said, "It means nothing in this house can happen until we clear things up. No new people can move in, no business can happen, and no rooms can be changed. Everything is frozen." My mother looked at me like she didn't even know me. "What did you do?" she whispered. I told her I prepared just like I said. My sister's voice was shaking. "But people are coming tomorrow. What should I tell them?" I looked her in the eyes. "Tell them the truth." That was the moment my sister realized her confidence was just a lie. She was standing there with nothing left. My mother sat down in a chair. My father rubbed his head and talked about the trouble they were in. My sister looked at the papers like she couldn't even read them. Our house felt different again. But this time, it wasn't because I was being pushed out. It was because I was the one in charge of the rules. The house stayed very quiet after the woman left. It felt like the walls were waiting for something. My mother walked around the kitchen and whispered about money. My father went outside to rake leaves that were not even there. My sister went into her old room and called people. She was trying to tell a story that nobody believed anymore. By the next morning, everything was falling apart for them. The people giving my sister money for her business quit as soon as they heard about the legal trouble. The repairs she talked about on the internet were now impossible to do. Her fans on the web noticed she sounded different. They started writing mean comments. She built her brand on being sure of herself, and now she had nothing to show. My mother wouldn't even look at me. My father tried to talk me out of it. He asked if we could fix things. But for once, I didn't help. That wasn't my job anymore. 2 days later, I packed up my own stuff. I didn't leave because they made me. I left because I wanted to. I signed a paper for a small apartment on the other side of the city. It had clean walls and no old memories. When I put my last box down, I felt very peaceful. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't fixing a single thing. I wasn't waiting for the next bad thing to happen. I was just free. I still think about that old house sometimes. I think about the stairs and the hallway and the girl I used to be. But leaving didn't hurt me. It gave me the space to build my own life. Doing what was right didn't come from yelling or getting even. It came from picking myself and setting rules. It came from letting the truth be more important than being loyal to people who didn't care about me. If what I just told you sounds like something from your own life, know that you are not going through it by yourself. Tell us about your own past in the comments section below. Also, make sure to press the subscribe button so you can see the next post when it comes out.